What if the people closest to you were the ones holding you back? Not with hate, but with guilt, pressure, and fake love. Because control doesn't always come from enemies. It comes from circles that fear your growth. If you've ever felt like you had to shrink just to belong, keep watching. Most manipulation doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the people you call family, your oldest friends, the people you trust the most. Not with threats, but with tiny emotional hooks. You're not the same anymore. I liked you better before. Why do you act like you're better than us? It's subtle but suffocating. They don't pull you down. They anchor you so gently that you think it's loyalty. The friend who jokes about your growth because they're stuck. The partner who guilt trips you for wanting space. The group that celebrates you, as long as you don't outgrow them. Insecure people don't want strong minds near them because a strong mind holds up a mirror and not everyone's ready to look. Psychologists call this social sabotage, the quiet resistance you feel from others when you begin to break free from collective habits. So step one, notice it. Watch the shift. Observe who claps when you win and who looks away, who suddenly goes quiet when you speak your truth. Their silence speaks louder than their words ever did. Toxic people rush your emotions. They love urgency. Why are you being weird? Why didn't you reply right away? Why are you overthinking everything? Because the moment you pause, you step out of their control. The pause is where your real thoughts live. It's how you separate their expectations from your intuition. It's emotional self-defense. The pause creates space, and manipulators hate space because space gives you time to see clearly, to feel what you actually feel instead of what they want you to. So the next time you're pushed to respond, to apologize, to explain yourself for simply existing, pause, count to three, breathe. And remember, your silence might be the first time you have actually spoken for yourself. If you want to build a mind they can't manipulate, you need boundaries they can't cross. And I'm not talking about walls, I'm talking about filters. Filters for who gets your time, your energy, your presence. Most people aren't destroyed by enemies. They're drained by friends. They're not wounded by strangers. They're wounded by people they had to make excuses for, again and again. Let this sink in. If you don't define your limits, someone else will define them for you, and they'll do it for their benefit. A boundary isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It's saying, I'm not available for games, for guilt, for emotional gymnastics. Ask yourself, who makes you feel lighter after spending time with them? And who leaves you emotionally hungover? They'll say, you're too sensitive. You've changed. You're acting different. And you know what? They're right, you have changed. You've started noticing the manipulation behind their compliments, the jealousy behind their jokes, the fear behind their control. The partner who once made you feel safe now just makes you feel small. The leader you admired never wanted you to think, just to follow. Real clarity feels lonely at first. You'll question yourself. You'll grieve the loss of connection. But you're not grieving them. You're grieving who you had to be to keep them. And remember, just because someone's in your circle doesn't mean they're in your corner. Some people clap loudest when you fall because it keeps you down where they feel comfortable. So start asking, do these people challenge me or just control me? Are they building me or building their ego on my silence? Here's the truth. When you finally build a mind they can't manipulate, they'll say you're the problem. You'll be called cold, distant, arrogant, selfish. Not because you are, but because you're no longer convenient. You don't jump when they push. You don't fold when they frown. You don't explain yourself just to earn temporary peace. And they hate that. People who can't control you will try to shame you. But shame is just their way of asking, why don't you need me anymore? Let them ask, let them whisper. That's how you know you're evolving. If your voice makes the room uncomfortable, maybe it's the room that needs to change. And soon something shifts. Your life starts to feel lighter. Not because you have more, but because you carry less. You attract people who love you for your clarity, who listen when you speak, who respect your boundaries without needing an explanation. because only free minds can recognize another. Here's the part no one talks about. Once your mind is your own, you lose people, you lose drama, you lose case, but you gain peace, and peace is expensive. That's why so few people have it. Your world gets quieter, but deeper. Your relationships get smaller, but stronger. You stop being nice and start being real. You stop agreeing to avoid conflict. You stop laughing at jokes that cut you. You stop saying, I'm fine, when your soul is screaming. And that version of you, that's the version they really feared. Not the loud one, the clear one. You're no longer easy to manipulate because you no longer need approval. You don't seek validation from broken people. You don't chase closure from those who benefit from your confusion. And that right there, right, is freedom. You are not just a reflection of your thoughts. You are a reflection of your relationships. You could do all the self-work in the world, but if you stay around people who benefit from your doubt, you'll stay stuck. Because no matter how sharp your mind is, if you keep handing it over to the wrong people, they'll dull it down until you can't recognize yourself. It's time to do a relationship audit. Who celebrates your healing and who feels threatened by it? Who listens without interrupting? Who can handle the real you, especially when the real you sets boundaries? If the answer is no one, then congratulations, you're starting over. But this time you're starting honest. A mind they can't manipulate isn't hardened. It's healed. It questions, it pauses, it chooses. It doesn't seek permission, it seeks truth. And when you reach that point, you don't fear losing people. You fear losing yourself again. Like Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom. So take the space, build the mind, and when they try to control you again, just smile and walk away.